So you remember that we started mathematical modeling right from the second period, and this we shall continue for a few more periods because the syllabus prescribes mathematical preliminaries and say mathematical formulation of linear programming problem. It does not give a variety of, it does not very specifically indicate what kinds of mathematical modeling or what kinds of problems have to be covered. So we are going to cover different kinds of practical problems which we generally face in our day-to-day life, and we shall try to say give a mathematical model of all these problems. And in the second part, we shall go for its solution. In the first part of the syllabus, where it is mathematical modeling, we shall discuss different kinds of problems. And today, we are going to discuss some more problems of linear programming. This is why this is called part 4 of mathematical formulation or development of LP models. So let us consider a problem in which it is said that a company manufactured 3 products, P1, P2, and P3. These are the 3 kinds of products the company is manufacturing. And then the resource constants are illustrated like this, that the machine hour requirements and labor hour requirements to process these 3 products and their maximum available machine hours per week for each machine and maximum labor hours available per week is given in the next table. The selling price per unit and product cost per unit are also summarized. The company wants to limit the production volume per week of the product P1 to maximum 35 units. So you have to formulate a linear programming model to find the production volume per week of each product, so that what? So that the total profit of the company is maximized. Obviously, when the profit is given, then we want to maximize the profit. So our intention is to maximize the profit. So our objective function will be maximize Z is equal to profit. So these are the details given, that for production of say product P1, you need 4 hours on machine 1, 3 hours on machine 2, and 5 hours on machine 3. Similarly, for production of product 2, you need 6 hours on machine 1, 7 hours on machine 3, no requirement of machine 2. For production of product 3, P3, you need 3 hours of machine 1, 2 hours of machine 2, and 8 hours of machine 3. Selling price of product P1 is rupees 500, that of P2 is rupees 400, and that of P3 is rupees 550. And the product cost per unit is rupees 350 for P1, rupees 280 for P2, and rupees 390 for P3. And the maximum available hours per week for machine 1 is 500. For machine 2 it is 300. For machine 3 it is 600. And labor hours, it says that for product 1 you need 3 labor hours, for product 2 you need 2 labor hours, and for product P3 you need 4 labor hours, and maximum weekly availability of labor is 200 man hours. So we have to formulate the problem in a way so that our profit is maximized. First, you just consider this element that the selling price is 500 and product cost is 350. What is the profit? Profit is 500 minus 350 is equal to 150. Similarly, for product P2, your profit is 400 minus 280 is equal to 120. And that of for product 3 is 550 minus 390, it is equal to 160. So, your total profit maximize Z, our product will be maximize Z. Suppose we produce X1 units of P1, X2 units of P2, and X3 units of P3. Then our profit will be, total profit will be 500 minus 350, 150, 150 X1 plus 120 X2 plus 160 X3, and our objective function is maximize Z is equal to 150 X1 plus 120 X2 plus 160 X3. Any confusion? I hope this is clear. Now we consider the resource constants. What are the resource constants? It says that for machine 1, the total weekly man hours available is 500, and for all these three products P1, P2, P3, you need 4 hours, 6 hours, and 3 hours of machine 1. So suppose you are producing X1 quantity of P1, X2 quantity of P2, and X3 quantity of P3, then the total machine hours required on machine 1 is 4x1 plus 6x2 plus 3x3, and it has in any case to be less than or equal to 500 because this is the maximum availability. So the first restriction is 4x1 plus 6x2 plus 3x2 is less than or equal to 500. I think I am clear. Similarly, for machine 2, the maximum hours available is 300, and you do not require any man hour for product P2. So it will be 3x1 plus 2x3 will be less than or equal to 300. 3x1 plus 2x3 is less than or equal to 300. Similarly, can you write 5x1 plus 7x2 plus 8x3 is less than or equal to 600. And for man hours or labor hours, you say 3x1 plus 2x2 plus 4x3 is less than or equal to 200. And obviously, as we have seen in all other previous problems, that there is a condition that all the real variables x1, x2, x3, etc., have to be either equal to 0 or greater than 0. It cannot be a negative quantity. So x1, x2, x3 are all greater than or equal to 0. And this is the mathematical formulation of the current problem. Okay. Now let us consider another problem. In a metro transport corporation, crews, each crew consists of a driver and a conductor. So each one crew means one driver and one conductor. The crews to operate buses report for duty at the beginning of each 2-hour period and work continuously for 8 hours. This is similar to the nursing problem that we had discussed in the previous class. But here, slightly different condition is there, that instead of 4 hours in that example, here the crew arrives at a difference of 2 hours. So variables which have to be selected will change. So the different time intervals in a day and the minimum required number of buses during each time interval are shown in the next table. Then we have to find out the number of crews which is required to report at the beginning of each time interval, so that number of queues is minimized, but the requirement is fulfilled. So it says that the queues which arrive at 5 to 7 p.m., 7 p.m. to 9 p.m., and 9 p.m. to 11 p.m. are idle between 11 p.m. and 5 a.m. So the crew members are given some idle time also. Now these are the time intervals from 5 to 7 a.m. Say number of buses required is A1, 7 to 9 it is A2, 9 to 11 A3. Likewise from 9 to 11 p.m. it is A9. You do not require after 11 p.m. because whosoever comes at 11 p.m. will go at 7 a.m. So you do not need to require to post any queue during that period. So we say total intervals in the above problem is 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. 9. There are 9 time intervals. And each queue which reports for duty works for 8 consecutive hours. It means the crew which arrives here will work for 1, 2, 3, 4 time intervals. Because one who comes at 5 a.m. will go at 1 p.m. So if he reports here, then he will go there here. So who reports at 7 a.m., he will go at 3 p.m. One who reports at 9 a.m., he will go at 5 p.m. So for 8 hours duty, the crew which arrives at a particular time interval will work for the 4 next time intervals. So let us say that xi, I the subscript, which will be equal to 1 to 9, is the number of queues required to report at the beginning of time interval I, where I is equal to 1 to 9. So, as per the requirement of the problem, we have to minimize the number of queues arriving at each time interval, but at the same time, we have also to meet the minimum requirement as stipulated here, that which is the minimum requirement of access required. So, what happens? We want to minimize x1 plus x2 plus x3. Suppose the number of queues arriving at interval number 1 is x1, at interval 2 is x2. Likewise, number of queues arriving at interval number 9 is x9. So, this number of queues have to be reduced to a minimum. So, we say to minimize x1 plus x2 plus x3, likewise up to x9. So, our objective function is minimize z is equal to x1 plus x2 plus x3, likewise up to x9. Subject to the condition that x1, one who arrives at time interval between 5 am to 7 am, plus x7 who comes at 5 p.m. to 7 p.m. will also be available during that time period. So, say who comes at 5 p.m. up to 7 p.m. he will work and then he gets a break, and for that he is getting some allowances also. So, this x1 plus x7 for his 6 hours ends at 7 am. So, plus x8 plus x9, because who works comes at this period or this period, he will also stay there. So x1 plus x7 plus x8 plus x9 will be should be greater than equal to a1, because the minimum requirement is a1. It means it may be more but not less than a1. So we say x1 plus x7 plus x8 plus x9 is greater than equal to a1. Similarly, if you see the conditions, you will find that x1 plus x2 plus x8 plus x9 is greater than equal to a2. x1 plus x2 plus x3 plus x9 is greater than equal to a3. And likewise, if you write all the equations, then you will find that x1 plus x2 plus x3 plus x4 is greater than a4. And we write all the conditions. And all x values, x1, x2, x3, x4, x5, x6, x7, x8, x9 will be greater than equal to 0, because this is the non-negativity constant. And this is the problem we have to solve at a later stage, but this is the mathematical formulation. Now we go to a third type of problem. A computer company procures cabinets from 3 different suppliers located in 3 different cities. A computer company procures cabinets from 3 different suppliers. A, B, C, these are the 3 suppliers, and they are located in 3 different cities. Company has production plants P, Q, R in 3 other cities. The cost of transportation for cabinet for different combination of supplier and production plant is summarized in the next table. The purchase price per cabinet from different suppliers is also indicated in the same table. The weekly demand at different production plants and the weekly availability of cabinets at different suppliers are also given in the table. So we have to formulate a linear programming model to find the optimal procurement plan for the cabinet such that the total cost is minimized. Actually speaking, this kind of problem is solved under the heading transportation problem. Transportation problem is also a type of linear programming problem only, but the method of solution is different, because if you solve this problem by linear programming techniques, the solution becomes very lengthy. But to understand the varieties of linear programming problem, we have considered this problem also. So these are the suppliers, say A, B, C. These are the production plant P, Q, R. And each production plant has a demand of 10, 20, 12, 100, 200 and 300. And the cost of transportation from supplier A to, say, destination P is rupees 10. So A to destination Q is rupees 15. From A to destination R is rupees 8. And the maximum supply that can be made by supplier A is limited to 300. And price per cabinet is 85. Similarly, supplier B can supply at the most 500 units at a cost of rupees 90 per unit, and the cost of shipment or the cost of transportation from supplier B to destination P is rupees 20, that from B to Q is rupees 21, and that from B to destination R is 15. Similarly, the cost of transportation from supplier C to destination P, Q, R are given as 12, 16, and 13. And the total supply limit of supplier C is limited to 100, and the cost per cabinet is rupees 75. Weekly demand at the production centers PQR is limited to 100 units, 200 and 300 units. So we have to formulate this problem as a linear programming model. So what we assume that let X1 quantity is supplied from supplier A to production plant P, X11. Or say y. In other words, we can also write from A to, suppose a quantity y is supplied from A to P, then we say that let this be y denoted by yp. So YAP is the quantity of the cabinet supplied from supplier A to destination P. So YAP. Similarly, when A quantity, some quantity from supplier A to production plant Q is supplied, we call it YAQ. Quantity supplied from supplier A to production plant R is called YAR. Then what is the cost incurred? 95 cost of transportation, 95 YAP plus 100 YAQ plus 93 YAR. Similarly, for this we say 100 BP, 110 BP, 111 BQ, 105 BR, 87 CP, 91 CQ, and 88 CR. So this is the total cost of transportation, and we have to minimize this objective function. This is the problem. So see how lengthy the objective functions has become here in this case. This is the beauty of this problem. This is why the operation research scientists devise some new method of solving this problem, and this we are going to study under the heading of transportation problem in the third unit. Now, what are the restrictions? The supply is limited to 300 from supplier A. So we say if YAP has gone, the quantity YAP has gone from A to P, YAQ has gone from A to Q, and YAR has gone from A to R, then YAP plus YAQ plus YAR cannot be more than, has to be less than or equal to 300, because this is the maximum quantity which supplier A can supply. So we write what YAP plus YAQ plus YAR is less than or equal to 300. Similarly, we write YBP plus YBQ plus YBR less than or equal to 500, and YCP plus YCQ plus YCR less than or equal to 100. Just see. And obviously, then the demand requirement is also there. What is the demand? Maximum demand at production plant P is 100, that at Q is 200, that at R is 300. So YAP plus YBP plus YCP should be less than or equal to 100. Similarly, YAQ, YBQ plus YCQ should be less than or equal to 200. YAR, YBR, YCR should be less than or equal to 300. And all YAP2, YCR should be greater than or equal to 0. This is the linear programming model of the given problem. Now, we still discuss one another problem of LPP, in which we say a company wants to engage casual laborers to assemble its product daily. It is an assembly plant. The company wants to engage casual laborers. The company works only for one shift, which consists of 8 hours and 6 days a week. The casual laborers consist of two categories, skilled and semi-skilled. The daily production for skilled labor is 80 assemblies, and that of semi-skilled labor is 60 assemblies. skilled labor, if skilled laborers are deployed, then there could be 80 assemblies, and semi-skilled laborers are employed, then there could be only 60 assemblies only. The rejection rate of assemblies produced by the skilled labor is 5%, and that of semi-skilled labor is 10%. Means what assemblies have been made, 5% of that will be rejected if it has been done by skilled labor, and 10% of that will be rejected if it has been done by semi-skilled laborers. Loss to the company for rejecting an assembly is rupees 25. So if one assembly rejected, the company loses rupees 25. The daily wage per labor of skilled and semi-skilled labor is rupees 240 and 160 respectively. The weekly production requirement is 1,86,000 assembly. The company wants to limit the number of semi-skilled labor per day to at most 400. Means the company does not want to deploy more than 400 semi-skilled labor. Then, but there is no such restriction on the skilled labor. So develop a linear programming model to determine the optimal mix of the casual labors to be employed, so that the total cost, means what are the cost components here? Cost components are total wages, only material cost and other costs are not given, that will remain the same. We want to reduce the total wages cost plus the cost of rejections. This we want to minimize. So this is the problem. So daily wages per skilled labor is rupees 240. Daily wages per semi-skilled labor is 160. So weekly required production is 1,86,000 assemblies, 6 working days per week. Therefore, daily required production will be 1,86,000 divided by 6 means 30,000 assemblies per day. Number of assemblies produced per skilled labor in a day is 80. Rejection rate is 5%. So 80 minus 5%, it means 4. 80 minus 4, 76 assembly we are getting by deploying skilled labors. And by unskilled labor, if you are deploying, then you get 60 assemblies, and 10% of that are rejected. So 10% of 60 becomes 6. So 60 minus 6 means 54 assemblies you are get by deploying unskilled labor. Loss per rejected assembly is rupees 25. The loss due to rejection by skilled labor will be 4 rejections. So 4 into 25 is equal to 100. And for semi-skilled labor is 6. 60%. 10% of 60 is 6. 6 into 25 is 150. So let xi, x1 be the number of skilled labor to be deployed per day, and x2 be the number of semi-skilled labor to be deployed. So how do we write this LP problem? So we have to minimize the cost. Cost becomes what? 240 is the wages cost of skilled labor. So 240 x1. 160 is the wages cost of semi-skilled labor. So 160 x2. 240 x1 plus 160 x2 plus the rejection cost. Rejection cost is per skilled labor is 100. So 100 x1. Per unskilled labor is 150. So 150 x2. So this becomes 240 x1 plus 100 x1 means 340 x1. 160 x2 plus 150 x2, 310 x2. So we have to minimize. Z is equal to 340 x1 plus 310 x2. And daily production has to be not less than 1,86,000 assemblies per day. Per week. This is the per week requirement, and week consists of 6 days. So daily requirement is 31,000 per assembly. And the output of by skilled labor is 76, and the output by unskilled labor is 54. 76 x1 plus 54 x2 should be greater than equal to 31,000. But it also says that the unskilled labor cannot be more than 400. So x2 has to be less than equal to 400, and x1 and x2 are both greater than equal to 0. So this is the mathematical model of the given linear programming problem. Now we take another product mix problem in which a company products three products by using inputs A, B, and C. The company has specified that per kg of these products, you need to say the product consumes 6 kg of input A, 8 kg of input B, and 3 kg of input C. For production of product B2, you need 4 kg of product A, 7 kg of product B, and 6 kg of product C. Similarly, for product 3, you need 3 kg of product A, 5 kg of product B, and 8 kg of product C. And rest, suppose you are investing 3 plus 5, 8 plus 8, 16 kg, and you are getting 1 kg. It means 15 kg goes as waste. This is like nutrition problem as we discussed in the previous class. And the three profit coefficients are C1 is equal to 20, C2 is equal to 40, and C3 is equal to 10. Means if you are selling product 1, you get 20 rupees profit. You sell product 2, then you get a profit of 40, and that on product 3 you get a profit of rupees 10. And the company has 800 kg of input A, 1800 kg of input B, and 700 kg of input C. Then we have to formulate the given problem, product mix problem, such that the profit gets maximized. So we say that let X1, X2, X3 is the product manufactured by the company for input A, B, and C. So here product 1 is manufactured in X1 quantity, product 2 in X2 quantity, and product 3 in X3 quantity. What is the profit? 20X1 plus 40X2 plus 10X3. So Z is equal to 20X1 plus 40X2 plus 10X3. This is what we want to maximize, and this is the our say objective function. Then there is a restriction on the resource, that if you use product A for all the if you use the input A for all these products 1, 2, 3, you need to spend 6x1 kg of for 1 kg of for say what is the total consumption of input A? That is 6x1 plus 4x2 plus 3x3. Why? Because you are producing x1 quantity of product 1, for which you require 6x1 kg of product, input A. You are producing x2 quantity of product 2, so you will consume 4x2 quantity of product input A, and similarly you are producing x3 quantity of product 3, so you will consume 3x3 quantity of input A. So total consumption of input A will be 6x1 plus 4x2 plus 3x3, and it has to be less than or equal to 800 kg, because 800 kg is your maximum source available. So 6x1 plus 4x2 plus 3x2 3 is less than equal to 800. Similarly, you can understand that 8x1 plus 7x2 plus 5x3 will be less than equal to 800 for 1800. So 8x1 plus 7x2 plus 5x3 less than 1800. And here 3x1 plus 6x2 plus 8x3 will be less than equal to 700, and all x1, x2, x3 will be greater than equal to 0. And this is the mathematical formulation of this problem. So we finish our class today here. Good day.